Canon EF 70-200 2.8 IS version 2. 14 years later, is this thing still any good? No. What's up? My name is Jay LeBlanc, wedding photographer and photography educator. Now I've been rocking this lens for 14 years. 14 years. I've broken it twice. I've had this thing repaired by Canon multiple times. It is still holding up and going strong. And 14 years later, is this lens still any good? This lens has outlasted 5 camera bodies. I've had this on my 5D Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, EOS R, and now I'm currently using it on my R6 and R5. Listen, I don't need to go any specs with you. The lens is old. There's plenty of videos about it. We all know what a 70-200 2.8 looks like. It's a great focal length and almost a must-have lens for wedding and portrait photographers. I currently use this lens with the RF to EF adapter. So when I had this lens on my 5D Mark IV, I started thinking to myself, okay, this lens is getting a little bit old now. I think maybe I should upgrade to the version 3. And then Canon announced that mirrorless cameras are coming out. So I hold off a little bit thinking, okay, I'm probably gonna need to buy the mirrorless version of this lens. Well then I finally get my hands on a Canon mirrorless camera. And my first one was the EOS R. And I was using the RF to EF adapter. And when I first put this lens on there, I thought to myself, holy shit, did I just get a new lens? Because putting this lens onto a mirrorless body versus a DSLR gives it almost a whole new life. The focus on it is so much faster than when it was on a DSLR. The image quality is still phenomenal. The quality of glass that's inside this lens is truly a work of art. Now I've been throwing around the idea of upgrading to the RF 70-200 2.8. One big thing that's been holding me back is the fact that when you zoom that lens, it extends. I love the fact that I can zoom this lens and it's all internal, it doesn't move. Did it really just pick up my eye through the lens? Pretty impressive. I'm filming right now on my R6 and these mirrorless cameras with their autofocus system is phenomenal. Even when you're putting EF lenses on it, these cameras still do a great job with their autofocus. Which is why I'm here to tell you, I still think this is a very relevant lens 14 years after it was released. You can go and pick up this lens used now for like 700 bucks. If you want to buy the RF version of this, it's gonna cost you 3 times that price. Yeah, maybe you don't have the cool control ring that's on the RF lenses, but you can always buy the adapter that has that built in. Personally, I don't even use those rings on my RF lenses, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything there. This lens gets used on almost every single wedding that I shoot. It gets used on almost every portrait session that I shoot. It's just one of those lenses and focal lengths that I just love and I almost can't live without. The stabilization in it works great. The autofocus in it is super fast. The image quality in it is still top notch. I have no complaints about it. I will tell you, this lens has been through the ringer. It has been broken multiple times and fixed by Canon multiple times. I'll tell you a story real quick. One time I had a camera strap, not gonna mention the brand, but it broke. And I just had the strap on one shoulder. And this lens was on that camera body that had the strap break. And this lens went down right into the sidewalk. And this lens broke the fall. The camera was totally fine. This lens, not so much. Sent it off to Canon, had them fix it up. You know, definitely it hurt a little bit for the price of that one, especially because this lens was pretty new at the time. And thank God I had CPS because that saved me a little bit of money, but it was an expensive fix. The motors, the glass inside, all had to be replaced. But after I got it back, it's still rocking for me. Here we are 14 years later. This lens is still kicking ass at every single wedding that I shoot. And I mean, this is truly a professional lens. I mean, it has the red ring. That means it's special, right? There's Canon fanboys in their red rings. But the fact that this is an L series lens means it's weather sealed. I've shot with this lens out in the rain, the snow, hail, and I'm not talking light rain, pretty heavy rain. And it held up. It is held up perfectly fine for me, multiple different shooting situations. I've had assistants with me before that are new to wedding photography, and they don't necessarily have a full kit built out yet, but they had the adapter to put Canon lenses on Sony bodies, and they've used this lens on Sony bodies and they still are producing high quality images. I'm telling you, if you are in the market for a 70-200 lens f2.8 and budget is even slightly a factor and you're shooting on any Canon cameras that will accept a full frame lens, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be considering this lens. I'm telling you that every week I am still making money with this lens, and I've never once had a single person complain about the image quality that came out of here. This is why so many photographers say invest in lenses. They're more important than camera bodies. Like I said earlier, this lens has lasted 5 camera bodies, 6 camera bodies, and it's still going strong. Even for video, this is a great option. It has the IS built into it. It has the 2 different focus modes. One thing I really like about it for video is the fact that it has a really big focus ring on it. So it's nice and easy to pull focus. If you are doing manual focus while shooting video in a more run and gun type of situation, having the tripod collar built into it is a nice little feature as well that you may not see on some of the more inexpensive lenses. When it comes down to it, if budget is any sort of factor and you're looking for a 70-200, this lens is a great option. I can fully see myself using this for many years to come. If there were any negatives to this lens, the only thing I would have to say is when you put the adapter on it and then you have the lens hood as well, this is a pretty big setup. It's pretty long. When you're carrying it around on your shoulder all day at a wedding or another event, it can get kind of heavy, sure. But I think that's really the only negative thing I have to say about it. And even with the adapter, this is still a lighter setup than when I used to put it on a DSLR. So here I am 14 years after the release of this lens, and I'm making a video about it. I don't even know if anybody's still searching for anything about this lens. If you are the one person watching this video who is considering buying this, please hit the like button for me, just so I know that I didn't make this video for no reason. I need to clean this. This thing's dirty. And I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, peace.